What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unscripted here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I'll be your host and producer, Logan Landers, and join me here today to talk about some horror movies. It is October, which means it is time for ghouls and goblins and everything running amok, and just fun to talk about something else and something I like, and that's horror movies. Help me out talk about all the slashing, bloody, gore goodness is Jay McLovin. Jay, what's up, man?
Hey man, I'm doing good. I'm just waiting for the haunted houses to get put up. I think they start put up. Well, I think one of them's up right now. I think a big one out here in Texas. It's supposed to be like a killing field or something. I don't know. So
Wow.
there's one in Galveston because Galveston had the Texas killing fields and stuff. So I think they're gonna do some stuff out there. So yeah, man, I love a good haunted house, man.
And
It's really good and well done. Yeah, I'm down.
It's good. And of course, in Atlanta there is Netherworld, which is a probably a world renowned one. A lot of people know about it. It's the certainly the biggest name one out here. So yeah, I think that it's a great time of the year for me, man. I love the fall. I love watching spooky movies. So it's all good. I'm looking forward to it. So before we get into it though, Jay, if you enjoy the episode, follow us on Facebook, Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. And if you want to connect with us professionally, Jay, we are on LinkedIn. So we have that. And if you guys want to enjoy watching, because there's a lot of movies out there, Jay. If you want to watch all of them, you can do so by getting you a nice tub of W Energy, right? It's jitter free. It's going to be good tasting. And Jay, we have a special way we can help people out. Tell them how we can do that.
Yes, all you got to do is dial that ESCN promo code and you will get a nice little 10% off. And we all like 10% off. So that when you do go onto the W website, make sure you put in that ESEN code.
That's it. It helps us out. It also helps you out. And overall, it's just great. They got a lot of really interesting flavors over there. We would just tell them to you, but what's the point in that when you can go and check it out for yourself? Well, Jay, let's just have a nice conversation, buddy. Let's talk some spooky movies. What are some of your favorites that you would enjoy watching?
See, that's a hard question for me, Logan. I tell you.
Okay, how so?
If we're talking like goofy horror movies, things like Scream, that kind of jumps out at me. Okay, that's great. If you want like your classic, generic horror movies, then you got like I said, Friday the 13th. You got Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. What was it? Obviously, just whatever. I mean, those are all that. I've kind of been really, ever since I've gotten into Rob Zombie stuff, man. I just can't go back, man. His stuff is just so, the cinematography and the storylines are just so good. I recommend starting off with The Lords of Salem. It was produced back in 2012. It talks basically about the movie follows a radio DJ played by Sherry Moon Zombie in Salem, Massachusetts, she encounters other witches and things like that. So if you've ever seen any of these Rob Zombie movies, the camera and cinematography is just ridiculously awesome, and it doesn't have your standard sound effects and edit effects. I mean, it's more raw, right? I mean, it's more of a raw based type of horror. I mean, it really is. It's horror, right? So I really kind of fall a lot into that one. If obviously, Logan, I know you said you saw the 10,000 Corpses.
I saw that a while ago.
If you have not seen The Devil's Reject, which came out in 2005, or Three from Hell, these are all zombie movies. House of a Thousand Corpses came out in 2003, and Three from Hell, I don't remember the year it came out. It's more of a newer movie. But 31 is another one that came out in 2016. So you watch 31, and then another one of his was Three from Hell. That one came out in 2019. So I mean, Rob Zombie has a big, vast collection of his stuff, and I mean, it's all different stuff, but all of the same kind of raw sense of horror. That you get.
Yeah, I mean, that's those you listed a lot of really good ones. I mean, some others that are just, you can always kind of throw on. You got The Shining, of course, a classic film.
Christine.
Christine? I will say, like, for the big series, like the ones with 8 sequels or whatever, like Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are iconic, right? Obviously, if you can make that many movies, you're doing something right. But
Yeah.
in terms of just as a whole, I don't know if they can kind of stack up in a sense to just a standalone.
Yeah. I think, a couple of things stand out to me when I think of horror movies. I think definitely Michael and Halloween, they got the best horror soundtrack. Right? That
Yeah.
theme the theme music, I guess what I'm saying. The theme music for Halloween is so awesome. I'd say probably
Hmm.
number two for me would probably be Friday the 13th, and then maybe you could throw in Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street at number three in terms of theme music. But that theme music for Michael, like you just know it, man. It's just like you just feel the energy building, right?
No, I mean you know exactly who's going to be there, and it just builds that suspense. Um, I mean, obviously, there's a million different kind of subgenres, right? There's the supernatural. There's just buckets of blood and everything, and there's like body image ones. There's a lot of different routes you can go down. Um, I mean, obviously, I like a solid slasher. Those are always fun to watch. Just just because, like you said, you get the villain. You
For
kind
sure.
of you really not gonna say sympathize, but that's the character you want to see. You don't really care about the other characters. It's just all right. Y'all are just the next kind of warm bodies here. Um,
Yeah.
and I just want to see whoever the main villain is, whether it be like you said with Freddy or Jason or Michael or the new generation of Art the Clown. So those are always fun to watch. We got our boy Glenn chiming in. He's saying, he said, "Yeah, who's gonna be there. It's not Santa. No, it
Oh
is
no.
not.
No.
It ain't Santa. It ain't Saint Nick on your chimney. It's Michael Myers with a knife. But I
I know.
enjoy
Hey,
those,
well,
man.
I'll tell you what, though, that Saw franchise really messed up. Gave me some bad dreams. I'll tell you that right. I was having all kinds of freaking crazy dreams after watching Saw.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just, I mean, there's no storyline to it, but man, the graphics and just the scenarios they get put into, it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
whatever sick mind that that have made them millions of dollars. But God, they've made what probably top of my head at least 10. I know they've made at least 10 movies, which that is just a lot. That is,
yeah.
and I get it's over 20 years, but still, it's a lot to take in.
Even after that dude died, it was like, what? You had the
They had
female.
yeah, it's like they had him die, they had someone else, then he came back to life, and it. I mean, the guy's Tobin Bell's probably what, like close to 90, if not in his 90s, and
Yeah.
he's still rolling, which is great to see. As one of the
Crazy to
more
me, man.
iconic characters, and he's 82. Okay, he's 82. But I mean, still, he's been playing that role since he was in his 60s. Um, so I mean, that's just the longevity there. I like just like standalones. In terms of like in the big sequels and everything. I like the first Scream movie a lot. I think that one was really neat with how
Yeah.
they just kind of changed up things a little bit. Or yeah, it was just a basic slasher in a sense, but they were more kind of on the nose, and they were talking about, oh, you shouldn't be doing this at this party, or else you might not make it, or you're just kind of going through all
It
the
was that comedy
stereotypes.
horror mix.
Yeah, and that's why I really like the first Scream. I think is really good. Um, I like the series too, and it got kind of a little wonky at the end, but I thought a series that had a really cool premise was the Final Destination series.
I don't
I
think I've
thought,
seen that one.
oh, really? Okay, yeah. So it's
No.
it's it's a group of films. It's probably about five or so, but it's pretty trippy. So it's basically just like Death is the main character, right? So Death, there is no face to it. It's just basically freak accidents happen, and and that's what causes people to die. So it's like I'm sure you've seen like I think it's the log jam one, where like if you ever traveled behind on the highway a giant truck with a bunch of logs on it.
Yeah.
The reason why people are kind of iffy about doing that now, at least for me, is because in one of the movies, I forget which one, it was like for some reason or another the belt on it was loose, so one of the trees or one of the giant logs just like became unhinged and like went through this person's windshield. Uh, so I mean that's one of the more kind of iconic kills in the series. So I really enjoyed that. But looking on the screen, we've got The Exorcist. I don't even know which. They made about a million of those. I don't. There's so many. It's cool in the beginning, but
Yeah.
I think that they have just kind of beat that one as much as you can beat it. Um,
I think you need to check out, not to big up Rob Zombie, but he actually did a remake of the Monsters. Rob Zombie did. The
I
Monsters.
heard about that, but I never
Yeah, it was
watched
in
it.
2022. And it looks like it. I have not seen it, but everything I've read about it, I'm thinking about watching this tonight just because it looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely God. There's so many just I need to watch. I mean, I don't. Do you think, Jay, like the classic ones can hold up still? I mean, like Frankenstein and Dracula. I mean, I think they
Yeah,
have
that's
their
the thing, though.
piece, but you
Yeah,
can't compare something nowadays to something back in the 20s or 30s. That's for
yeah.
anything in life.
We know, actually, believe it or not, I think there's like 5 or 6 different movies on Rob Zombie's like top 10 list of horror movies on his personal top 10 list that are actually like 1932, 1933, and in that time frame. And I mean, I'm actually am I going to watch it in a few because I can see a certain element of horror. I mean, it's not going to be like your graphic gore horror like a Saw because it doesn't have all
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have all
They
the
didn't have all
violence.
that.
But if you look at the storyline and everything behind it, yeah, that could be pretty damn good. I mean, honesty. I mean, good acting, had good storylines. Everything was really good about it. I mean, it almost was actually even better because you didn't have to rely on all the gory effects to make your movie good, right?
Right, make it kind of super scary.
Oh, for sure,
But
for sure.
no, I mean, there's so many you can just kind of pick from. They make a few ones every year. I mean, they always make. And that's the thing too. I think that horror movies, as opposed to other genres, can have the stupidest films, dude.
Oh
They
yeah.
can have the dumbest premise or the most insane names, and they can get a budget for it and make it because they just can do it. I think
Yeah,
there was
my thing about it is I
mm,
feel like take Friday the 13th. We'll just take that one as an
okay,
example.
all right.
When the guy is going into outer space, I think we've used up all the usable content worth a damn.
That's
You
fair.
know?
Whenever you got
And
to
then
send
when
them
you
to
get to the point where
space,
now we got to do Jason versus
Freddy. Yeah,
Freddy or whatever, that's just how you've really run out of material.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
I
you're
think they stretch a little too far sometimes.
no. I mean, what was the Leprechaun series? They had one where he was like
Oh,
selling pot, and I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't sometimes you can just kind of get lost in your ways.
I
Um,
like the Chucky series. I thought that was kind of stupid, but kind of
I
fun.
thought yeah, I think Chucky's a good series. I think they have some good films.
And then what about
Um,
Annabelle? Remember that they put Annabelle in there, and they
yeah,
did the whole series on
yeah.
her.
And also one that they're promoting now actually is Smile 2, which they did that for the first one, but for the second one they're having the people dress up in like the green highlighter shirts and just creepily smiling at the camera for hours on end.
Yeah.
So I think that's good promotion. I haven't seen the second one, so I don't know how that one is, but I like the first one, kind of a different premise. Um, yeah, and Glenn said over time it did become comedy. One, two, I thought was interesting, and I enjoyed it, but I don't get the hype around it being like one of the greatest of all times. Is A Quiet Place. I don't know if you ever watched that one.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
What's the
that.
one? Was it? Is it Vanishing? Where they're in the cabin, but if they go out in the cabin and they're in the mist, they just die.
Oh, that one. No, I don't think that one. I don't know about
Is it
that one.
Mist? Maybe it's called Mist or
There was
something.
one. Yeah, there was a movie called The Mist, where like for the most part they were gathered in like a convenience store, I think,
Yeah, and if they
and
go
it
out in the
was like
mist or whatever, they're just gonna die.
yeah, because there was like monsters out there that were taking them away.
And I like that because then it leaves the horror to your imagination, like what's really going on out in the
That
mist.
that one also has one of the worst but best endings ever, where it shows the father and son, and this is a spoiler because it's a 15-year-old movie. It's got the father and son in the pickup truck. They finally made it out, Jay, but then it's basically, well, the truck broke down. We can't get out of the mist. What are we gonna do, right? What are we gonna do? well, the dad ends up killing his son with a handgun, and pretty much right after that, you see the mist start to dissipate, and
Yeah.
you see the army tank, or you see the tanks rolling in, right? And it just leaves you with such a, oh my god, what a punch in the gut, right? What a really crappy ending that was. But also I loved it because I never would have expected it. But yeah, I love the mist. I'll always watch that one
And then what
if
about
it's on.
Psycho? We don't even talk about Psycho anymore. Like
Yeah,
Psycho had to be like one of the best ones ever, where the mother's like the dead mother's controlling the son, and the son's out there wreaking havoc. I mean, I think that started out in like 1960, but man, I mean, it's still kind of relevant. You know, if you go back and watch them, I mean, you'll still get scared at them.
yeah, that
We're going to talk about Cujo.
Cujo. Yep, that one's. I don't hear anyone talking about that. I like, the first Psycho is good. I like the American Psycho they made in, like, I think 2000 with Christian Bale. I thought that one was good. Um,
Yeah.
He said it wasn't a movie, but The Strain is a great series to watch. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. I've not heard of that. I mean, yeah, I mean, we could. There's thousands upon thousands we could talk about. Um, I mean, there's always going to be ones that people get hyped up about, and usually it doesn't pan out. Sometimes it does, I mean, it's like right now, Terrifier 3 is the biggest movie in America, beat out The Joker.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a really small independent film.
No, a lot of people said it was so much of a musical that it wasn't like, it was just
you kind of took away from the premise. I haven't watched it, so I don't know, but I've heard kind of mixed reviews, more so negative, about that series, or about that movie. But yeah, we'll see. But there's so many out there, Jay. There's so many.
There's a lot out there that I never even heard of. Like,
dude, yeah. There's no way.
One, like, it was 2016. It was like the number 2 best horror movie, like Train to Busan.
Yeah, I think that was I never watched it, but I think
it's a Korean zombie movie.
Yeah, it was like a Korean zombie movie on Netflix, I believe, and it was huge. I mean, those are good. There's thousands of zombie movies. I feel like those have kind of waned off in recent years. Just, I think, probably because of the The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
like I think that kind of.
That started out kind of cool, but then it just got old after a while because you knew all the main.
Yeah,
you had to figure out how long the main character was going to be before he died. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, zombie films, you know what you're going to get, right? For the most part, they're expected. People are going to get bit. They're going to get back to life. They're going to die, so on and so forth. But I haven't, like I said, but I know that one came out in 2016. But I can't remember a more so recent one than that's been that hyped. I like the what is it? I like to just kind of look at the screen. I like the remake of It in like 2017.
Yeah,
I thought that one, I actually like that one better than the original, because the original I thought was scary, but I thought the remake was a lot better personally. Just because also too, I like the fact, because in the original it was a very long movie. It was like, I feel like it was like 3.5 hours. At least it felt like it, because it was just it's a Stephen King novel, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, those things are gonna go forever. But I like the remix.
A scary movie. And I'll be honest with you, when Melanie told me about this movie, it's called Rosemary's Baby. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I've heard the title, but I don't know what it's about.
Oh, bro, it's so jacked and crazy, man. It was filmed like in the 60s, 70s, something like that.
Okay.
But the premise is, this chick and this guy, this husband and wife, they move into this old building, and you have to pay attention to the movie, because everything you see in the movie gets played out at different levels of it. So, for example, there's one where she goes in there and she sees his armoire, and his armoire is like in this closet, and it's kind of like in a weird spot, and she's like, I wonder why that armoire is put there. That's kind of weird. And the guy's like, I don't know why they did, the realtor guy. But then you later find out that the people are coming from the other apartment through that. It was like a little tunnel from between apartments. Basically, the movie's about Satan. And Satan has sex with this lady, and then with the lady, and then the lady has to give birth to Satan's child. And It's just so demonic, and it's not like the gore. There's nothing gory about it, but it's just like at the end, they're all gathered around the baby's crib, and it's got an upside down cross hanging above. Bro, Rosemary's Baby. I challenge you to watch it tonight, and when you're not scared shitless after watching that shit, because it really will. It plays with your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I'll definitely have to add that one to the list, man. So yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of them out there. I'm sure there's ones I like that you like, or that you don't like, that you like that I don't like. There's even more that we've never seen because there's just so many of them. I mean, the fact that they're making movies now, Jay, about Winnie the Pooh and Steamboat Willie and Bambi and everything. They made one, I think, for the Banana Split, whatever, right? If there's an open IP address out there, whatever, if there's an intellectual property, a horror director will get his hands on it. He will make a movie about it. That is for sure.
Man, that's just it just depends on like what you like. I mean, if you want
No, yeah, for sure.
there's so many different versions of horror movies or scary movies. So it really just some people like to see the gory stuff. A lot of people are more interested in the storyline behind it. I mean, it really just depends on what you're looking for in terms of like what's the best scary movies. I mean, we don't even talk about Night of the Living Dead back in the 60s or the one, the Nun. Remember Nun that had that evil nun or whatever?
Yeah, I'm about to say the Conjuring series as well with the ghost are in the house and whatnot, and devils are taking over possession and dolls and everything. So like you said, there's a movie for everyone out there, but it's been fun, James, to just kind of talk about these and why we enjoy them and everything like that. But guys, of course, we appreciate y'all tuning in live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also, go check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn, as well as on TikTok. Well, for Jay McLovin, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, put in the comments what is your favorite horror movie. And until next time, we'll talk to you again on another live episode. We'll see you then.